A federal judge in Denver will soon decide whether to file a restraining order to stop the White House from using the Alien Enemies Act to deport non-citizens. Under this 18th century law, some immigrants have been deported to a maximum security gang prison in El Salvador, accused of being members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua.
The lawyers for two men in ICE custody in Denver claim it's happening without due process. The judge ordered a halt on the controversial deportations last week.
Denver 7's Christian Lopez was at the hearing that could determine if those deportations are allowed to resume and shares the arguments that were made to the judge.
A judge heard arguments from both sides of the issue at this federal courthouse in Denver Monday morning. The legal director for the ACLU telling us so far 11 people who were detained by ICE in Colorado have been sent to El Salvador, and he is fighting to prevent the federal government from continuing to deport people without due process.
They tried to remove people with hours' notice and ship them out before a court could question that.
Tim McDonald with the ACLU of Colorado is representing two men who are currently in ICE custody in Aurora. The men claim they are being unfairly linked to the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Last week, U.S. federal judge Charlotte Sweeney temporarily blocked the removal of non-citizens who may be subject to removal under the Alien Enemies Act that President Donald Trump invoked last month. The act has been used to send immigrants to the notorious Centro de Confinamiento de Terrorismo prison in El Salvador.
And they're trying to use it in a way that is unconstitutional and illegal.
McDonald said there are currently around 100 people at Aurora's ICE processing center who are at risk at being sent to the El Salvador prison without proper legal proceedings. Pablo Acosta, an immigrant from Honduras, says he's worried for his wife, who's been detained at GEO for the past several months.
Eso es lo que a nosotros nos preocupa, de que en algún momento a ella la deporten, la manden a El Salvador y nosotros como familia no sepamos nada más de ella.
During the hearing Monday, the government's attorney, Michael Velchek, argued that both plaintiffs in the case are not detained under the Alien Enemies Act. He said there is no plan by the agency to remove them from the country under that act. He also said the court does not have jurisdiction in this case if they are detained under the act in the future. During a recent interview, border czar and former acting director for ICE, Tom Homan, said immigrants who are removed under the Alien Enemies Act have less due process, but argued that the Trump administration is following the laws of the Constitution.
I'm not a constitutional scholar. I'm not going to argue this in court. That's what the Department of Justice does. But I'm sitting here today thinking we've done the right thing for this nation.
If they can do it to Venezuelans, they can do it to American citizens.
Denver 7 reached out to the Department of Justice and ICE. Both declined to comment on Monday's hearing. McDonald says now that the judge has heard all arguments, he is expecting that we'll get a decision in a couple of days. Reporting in Denver, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Taking a closer look at the legal pushback the Trump administration is facing. Now, more than 1,000 international students, including some here in Colorado, are now suing the administration after having their visas revoked. It's part of sweeping lawsuits, two of them, in fact. The Trump administration says it revoked the visas because of various alleged offenses. We talked with the attorney representing 6 international students in Colorado who say the revocation of the visas is unlawful.
Some of them are so afraid of going to class and that they might be arrested by ICE that they are declining to go to class, even though they legally should be allowed to, despite their student status being terminated.
More than 30 international students in Colorado colleges and universities have reportedly lost their visas.